Well, good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? All right. Well, again, good morning to all of you. I want to thank you on behalf of the entire Port of Long Beach team for joining us for this momentous occasion. My name is Noel Hasegaba, and for the duration of this program, I'll be serving as your Master of Ceremonies. And by the way, this weather was ordered just for this event, except the wind. The Port of Long Beach is delighted that you could join us to celebrate the completion of the Pier G to Pier J double track access project. And yes, that's the short version of the project name. The completion of this project is a testament to the fact that even throughout the pandemic, the port never stopped. We not only moved record amounts of cargo 2 years in a row, but we also engineered and built one impressive new infrastructure project after another. This project today is a vital piece of the port's ongoing railroad infrastructure program aimed at shifting more cargo to rail, fulfilling one of the goals of the 2017 update to the San Pedro Bay Port's Clean Air Action Plan to reduce emissions from truck traffic. The double track access from Pier G to J project adds a second rail line that enables 4 terminals, including this one that you see behind us, in this South Basin area to handle arriving and departing trains simultaneously. Now, before we hear from our speakers, please join me in welcoming some special guests. With us today is Councilmember Roberto Uranga, representing the 7th District of the City of Long Beach. And he's accompanied by his field deputy, Sean Bernhoft. Also with us today is Elia Reza Khan, who is representing the 2nd District Councilmember Cindy Allen. And representing the City Manager's Office with us today are Tyler Bonanno Curley, as well as Sarah Baumann. Thank you, Tyler and Sarah. And of course, in our audience, we have a number of our partners representing terminals and the railroads. Give yourselves a hand. We really appreciate you being here today. Now, to get things started, please join me in welcoming our first speaker. He's the mayor of the great city of Long Beach and a longtime champion of our port, Dr. Robert Garcia.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great day to be here and to celebrate, and I first just want to thank the entire port team for all the incredible work on the completion of this project, which I know has been very important to us here in the greater region. And I wanted to just note that besides the great weather and all the great leaders that have been so involved in the project, it's rare that we get also a really great cake at an event. And so there's nothing like coffee and cake in the morning, so that is going to be very exciting to have a piece of that. We all know that Long Beach has been a leader in the Green Port conversation for so long. I mean, I think it's 2005 that we passed the first Green Port policy, and since then have reaffirmed the position of Long Beach as the Green Port. Our port's been committed to improving water quality, of course, air quality, making sure we invest in zero emissions technology, and we just saw that with what's happening right now with our trucks and the way we're bringing in and funding zero emissions truck technology. But we also know that rail is such an important part of that movement towards a greener, more sustainable community. We know that this project is going to allow us to take an enormous amount of trucks off the road. We know that just one full train removes up to 2,000 trucks that can come in and out of our port. And so the idea that we're able to build on this infrastructure as it relates to rail is really important. We know that railroads can move one ton of cargo 480 miles with 1 gallon of gas. We know that this transition to rail is not just important at this project, but in so many others that are happening across the port. I do want to also make 2 other acknowledgments. I do want to thank our Building Trades Council and the workers that helped build this project as part of the broader project labor agreement that we fought so hard to get at the Port of Long Beach. Absolutely. For this project and others in particular, that means that also 40% of the work is going right back into our local workers here in the area, and that's really, really important. It also means that for us, for the first time, we're able to also ensure that veterans and disabled veterans are being added to these jobs here at the port and at the airport and across the city. So we're very, very grateful for all of that. And then finally, I do want to also just recognize the Long Beach Harbor Commission, a great group of leaders in our community. I think two of which are here. Incredible appointees, I might add, both to both our commissioners that are here, our Vice President Sharon Weissman, and of course our former President Bonnie Lowenthal, who continues to help lead across the region. So thank you all very much for being here. This is like a very exciting. We're gonna all like get our workout this morning. It looks like hitting these golden spikes, and we're happy to be here. Thank you, Dr. Hasabagawa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Always appreciate your support and your participation in our events. The cake and the coffee is to give strength and endurance to those who will be doing this later, all right? So my scripted introduction of one of our incredible appointees is over there. Technically, it's on the ITS border, so this introduction will come from the heart. So capping a very distinguished career, having served both in the state senate, city council level, and most recently for Dr. Garcia as a senior advisor, she currently serves as the president of this vice president of the Harbor Commission, and that is Sharon Weissman, our next speaker.
Well, thank you, Dr. Hasagawa, and thank you, Mayor, for your kind comments about particularly your appointees. What can I say? You have great judgment. So, well, on behalf of my colleagues on the Long Beach Board of Harbor Commissioners, I want to thank everyone who had a hand in completing this wonderful rail improvement project. Our rail projects strengthen the port's ability to compete for cargo in a rapidly evolving industry while alleviating truck traffic on our region's freeways. We know that as the cargo volume increases, we'll need to become more and more efficient. And January through March of this year, dock workers and terminal operators at the port moved record amounts of cargo. Rail projects like this one will increase our capacity without putting more trucks on the road. In fact, the estimate is that this project alone will help us eliminate 3.3 million truck trips over the next 20 years. And next year, we're going to break ground on the Pier B on-dock rail support facility, a $1.5 billion program that, when completed, will allow the port to move 35% of our containerized cargo through on-dock rail. We're pursuing Pier B, this project today, and other rail projects with the vision of a more efficient, more sustainable, and faster cargo movement at the Port of Long Beach. I want to congratulate our Pier J double track access team for bringing the project in, and I'm very proud to say this, under budget and ahead of schedule. Yes. As an added bonus, the project was part of our port-wide labor agreement, which helps to ensure reliable delivery of port projects while promoting training and apprenticeship opportunities for workers. It's definitely a win-win. Our partnerships with labor and industry continue to make us a leader in trans-Pacific trade. We see a bright future for the Port of Long Beach as we lead the industry with innovative programs to move cargo more efficiently and cleaner. For our community, we have shown it's possible to have both good jobs that support our economy and a sustainable environment. That's why we put such high priority on community support, and that's why our customers make us the port of choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again, Vice President Weissman. Our next speaker is someone who needs no introduction. He's been serving as our executive director since 2017, and before that, served on the Harbor Commission when this project that we celebrate today was just in its formative stages. Please welcome Mr. Mario Cordero.
Thank you, Noel, for that introduction. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, and all of you who are attending this great event. As I've said to some of you who I had a conversation with this morning, 1 down, 3 to go. What that means is, as you know, the Port of Long Beach has a very ambitious rail project plan for the next 10 years. And of course, this is the first to be completed, and I'll comment further on one of our other projects. But I welcome you, as the mayor referenced, to a port that's known for its environmental sustainability stewardship. We are the green port. Now, before I have my formal comments, I want you to look to my left here. This is a Tier 4 locomotive, the first of its kind. What that means, it reduces particulate matter by 90% and reduces NOx by 91%. So, the Port of Long Beach stands by our declaration in 2005 as a green port. We will grow, and we will grow green. Thank you, Odey and Pacific Harbor Line. What's coming next is the all-electric, but we'll save that for a couple years down the line. So, needless to say, these are extraordinary times. And despite the disruption to the global supply chain and the most tragic health pandemic in over a century, the Port of Long Beach continues with its capital improvement plan. The construction projects here at the Port of Long Beach have been challenging in the last 2 years, given the impacts of COVID. But again, as we have said before, in crisis, the Port of Long Beach builds. We open a fantastic bridge. We will soon demolish the main span of the old bridge here in the next 60 days. We built the state-of-the-art terminal, the Long Beach Container Terminal. We've completed 1 fire station, and soon to move forward to construct the 2nd brand new fire station in the harbor complex. Over the next 10 years, we will be spending $1.5 billion in capital improvement projects. And as been stated before, when we build with a project labor agreement, so that the men and women who work on these projects not only get a fair shot at making decent earnings, but get the best in terms of what these projects are able to offer for the disadvantaged and the local communities. This project, as I mentioned, is one of 4 rail projects that we put on the drawing board a few years ago. And it will, as has been stated earlier, reduce the number of trucks. You may be aware of our centerpiece rail project, which is Pier B, and that's the Pier B Rail Enhancement Support Facility, the state-of-the-art rail facility to come. It has recently had formal approval through the NEPA process by the U.S. Maritime Administration. And we received from DOT early this year $52.3 million towards this project. Evidence of how important this project is, not only to the Port of Long Beach, the San Pedro Port Complex, and of course, the nation. So let us focus on the improvement projects that we have before us. The Pier J double track project will help streamline operations, as has been said, in reducing trucks at a time when we're experiencing unprecedented cargo growth. The construction on this project began back in 2020 and primarily including laying new 8,000-foot departure tracks allowing a two-way in and out traffic serving 4 marine terminals, increasing rail efficiency here at Pier G and J by as much as 25%. That is a huge accomplishment. The new departure track will reduce roadway congestion on local streets and regional highways and allow more containers to be accessed by rail. This provides an increase in capacity on dock rail by 157,000 TEUs per year. And if you look over the next 20 years, it will also provide an additional 3.1 million. And this translates to elimination of about 3.3 million truck trips of drayage trucks from the docks to near dock during this same period. Completion of this project is a great accomplishment, and my thanks to each member of the team, the hardworking port team led by our Managing Director of Engineering, Sharon Gamette, and our partners who all made this happen. So again, this is a great rail project. We want to eliminate trucks from the freeways in the neighborhoods, and at the same time, we're growing green with the first of its kind Tier 4 locomotive. So thank you so much.
Right, thank you very much. We've just heard from our executive director and the vice president of our commission and our mayor talk about the many advantages of this project, commercially, operationally, and yes, sustainably as well. So thank you for that. Now we're going to switch gears, literally. We're going to hear from the man behind the trains, and that is Odey, who represents Pacific Harbor Line. PHL provides rail transportation, maintenance, and dispatching services to the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles, which together form the largest container port in the United States. It's the PHL equipment like the 2 state-of-the-art clean locomotives behind us that will run on these tracks, connecting our ports with BNSF and Union Pacific Railways. PHL is a leader in environmental sustainability, always looking forward to obtaining the cleanest locomotives at this port complex. So please join me in thanking PHL for the loan of these beautiful locomotives with a round of applause as we welcome the president of PHL, Odey, to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Odey with Pacific Harbor Line. I'd like to thank you, Mario, Noel, and Rick Cameron, for allowing us to be here. And I also like to thank all of the elected officials for being here as well. Particularly you, Bonnie, since our circles cross quite a bit, particularly since 2010 when I arrived here. And I would also like to thank, I believe we've got BNSF, Dan Davis from BNSF out here, and I don't see anyone from UP, so I always have to give my rail partners a shout out. And then I have 3 folks here from Pacific Harbor Line. If you guys could wave or stand so everybody can identify you there. All right. That's a part of the team who has a very difficult job of trying to make me look good on a daily basis. One of the issues or one of the problems of following the mayor, the harbor commissioner, the executive director, is they've taken all of the information I wanted to share with you. They've talked about the NOx reductions. They've talked about my locomotives. They've talked about sustainability. So that leaves me with just talking about Pacific Harbor Line and our locomotives. I want to make sure that we clarify one thing because we do have Dan Davis here from the BNSF, and they have a huge fleet, 5,000 plus of what we call road locomotives, and they have Tier 4 locomotives as well. So whenever you hear Pacific Harbor talk about locomotives, I'm talking about switch engines. I'm talking about 3,000 horsepower and below. So those are the ones that I'm talking about, and all of the first that we mentioned, we're talking about that number and below. We're not talking about the high horsepower road because the big guys have that and they usually go first before us. But in what we are, the short line railroad industry, we are the industry leaders in that arena. So I want to make sure, in case someone has needed some clarification on that, and to acknowledge the job that the Class 1 railroads are doing on a daily basis. So I thank you once again. This is a great project. We go from a single main line to a double main line, which obviously will double our output on this area for Port of Long Beach. This is a great project to be a part of. We also look forward to Pier B Yard, Mario, and we look forward to the continued discussions and the completion of that. And hopefully Pacific Harbor Line will be the carrier for that location as well. So I just want to thank you all for coming out today. And I want to thank you all particularly for this wonderful looking cake. Isn't this gorgeous? This is the first thing I took a picture of when I showed up. This cake is wonderful. And we should give Port of Long Beach a hand for that. And the contractor that they used, whoever made it, I think that's a fantastic feat. But again, these locomotives behind us, on my right, I've got a Tier 3 Plus locomotive, the PHL 20, and on my left, the PRLX 24, which is a project we did with Progress Rail. In 2019, Progress Rail delivered this locomotive to us. We leased it from them. We were the first short-line railroad to have a Tier 4 locomotive, as Mario mentioned, and we were very excited about that, and we continue to lease this locomotive from them. And we also have a few MOUs out that have been publicized about our upcoming zero emission battery electric locomotive. And we look for that to be here very soon. So I'll leave a little sound bite coming to a railroad in the port soon. All right, thank you all.
Thank you very much, Otis, for your partnership as well as our partners at BNSF and Union Pacific. If you haven't seen these cakes that both the mayor and Otis have referenced, you ought to take a look. And I understand that those cakes are also, which are replicas of these trains behind me, are also zero emission. I don't know if they're low carb, but they are low emissions. So. Now, this rail project, like all of our capital improvements, depended on the skilled labor of the building trades. We thank all of the builders who made this project a reality. So it's my honor at this point to introduce Anne-Marie Odey, Communications and Editorial Director of the Los Angeles and Orange County Building and Construction Trades Council, and she will address us today. Thank you.
All. And if you think it's hard to follow all those wonderful speakers, imagine being, I think, one of the last speakers before the cake is opened up. So I will get right to it and thank you all for working so intently, so seriously, so sincerely with the 140,000 members of 48 local unions and district councils who make up our building trades. One great thing, in addition to cake, about coming down to the port is seeing that the port never, ever, ever stops working. It's wonderful to see the sights and to hear the sounds, even as we're here right now. And that makes me think very, very much of all of our building trades members. They never stopped. Just like you, involved in the construction business and the port, our ports never stopped, our city government never stopped, our building trades members never stopped. No matter what safety precautions they had to take on the site, they met the challenge. We were declared essential. Our workers proved to us how essential they were. They took their health in their hands to be here and to make sure, as we see, that it came in early and under budget. And I do thank especially the workers who put their time in during the very, very difficult pandemic to keep our economy moving. Of those workers, as everyone has been able to reference, and we're so again appreciative, we had a 40% local hire goal. However, we actually met 60%. We reached and exceeded our goal for local workers from this area and reached 60%. Now, as you can see again in back of me, the beautiful product is here. The workers are no longer here. They have moved on to the next job. As we say, our success means working ourselves out of a job, which again is why we appreciate so much our partnership with the City of Long Beach, with the Port of Long Beach, with every entity in Long Beach with whom we have these project labor agreements that are going on to prove successful in bringing local and disadvantaged residents into lifelong union, well-paying careers. This is the future. We look forward to working with you toward the future greening of the port and having our workforce be here with you always. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, and another hand for all of our workers. Yeah. Now, in baseball, as we approach the ninth inning, they have the seventh inning stretch, right? So I'm going to give you all a few seconds to adjust your hair because of the wind, because the wind has been a little wild today. But our next speaker leads our Engineering Services Bureau, which is the team that brought you this project we are celebrating today. So it's my pleasure to welcome our Managing Director of Engineering Services, Sharon Gamette.
Let's see. Well, thank you, Noel, for that introduction, and it's fantastic to be with everybody here today. This was a really complex project that had to be seamlessly sequenced to ensure the successful outcome that we're all celebrating today. Can I get a witness from my delivery team? All right, yeah. As you've heard, this involved adding an 8,000-foot departure track, introducing two-way traffic, creating a more fluid movement of cargo by rail to and from this area of our port. We also added 7 new tracks totaling 5,700 feet to an existing storage yard used by our Pier G container terminal. And the construction work, folks, it had to be carefully coordinated with all of our stakeholders and operators to ensure that their operations were not disrupted at all. Numerous underground utilities needed to be protected or relocated. And folks, the team did an amazing job. And I'd especially like to recognize our delivery team, many of whom are here today. And so lest you think, based on the number of hammers there, that you're not getting some exercise, that would not be the case. So I would like to ask all of those that I name to stand and remain standing. And if I don't call your name specifically, if I call your division or your company name, I would again ask you to stand and remain standing, and then I would ask the whole group to hold your applause until the introductions are complete, because this is going to be fun. Ready? All right, first, from our Engineering Bureau, which I am proud to be up here for, a special thanks to 3 particular individuals. First, our program manager, Sunny Zia. Please stand. Our construction manager, Ruben Fabella. Ruben, please stand. Thank you. Our design manager, Ron Richardson. All right, Ron. So we've got 3 folks standing so far. Did these 3 people deliver the whole project? Did they accomplish it all themselves? No, they did not. So I'd like to thank our entire program management team led by our director, Tasha Higgins. If any of you are associated with program management, please stand. Now, our program management team relied on the expertise and services of many other parts of our Engineering Bureau. And I want to thank our Project Controls Division led by Marlene Dupre. Whoever from Project Controls, Henry Corzo, our scheduler, fantastic. I'd like to thank our Survey Division led by Kim Holtz. Anybody from Survey here, please stand. All right. And our Design Division led by John Chun. Anybody associated with the Design Division in addition to Ron, please stand. All right. Last but never least, from the Engineering Bureau, those responsible for the construction of this project, our construction management team led by Darren Lamberger. Please, if you are here representing construction management, I know there's a lot of you, so please stand. There you go. Please stand. Folks, you're going to be hearing from Darren Lamberger in a few minutes as we get on with the ceremony. Before that, there's some other folks I want to ask to stand. Those of you from the Tenant Services and Operations Group, I know some of you are out here. Please stand. Carlo, I saw you. Darren. Okay, good. Yolanda, Chris Harding was here, I think. How about from our Real Estate Division, led by Eamon Colleen? I know there's a few of you. Please stand. Mari, Deborah? All right, fantastic. And folks, we do not celebrate development such as this without excellent planning, technology, security, and the funding to deliver it all. So a big thank you to our Transportation and Master Planning Division led by Teresa Downno. If you are associated with that team, please stand. All right, Anna. How about our Information Management Division led by Nariana Maiko? Please stand if you're associated with that team. Our security division, led by Casey Herr. Gio, I see you out in the back. You can't get away. Great. Our environmental planning division, led by Matt Arms. If you're associated with environmental planning, please stand. And our finance division, led by Wei Chi. If you are here from our finance division, please stand. And finally, folks, and this is really it, a huge thank you to our contractor, Kiewit, who built this project. If you're here from Kiewit, please stand. The Los Angeles and Orange County Building Trades. If you're associated, please stand. Our consultants, AECOM, Port Design Partners, Parsons, P2S. Please stand. And also, the Pacific Harbor Line. Please stand if you're a part of that team. International Transportation Service, please stand. And the Long Beach Energy Department for helping us build this project. Honored guests, attendees, I give you the double track delivery team. Let's all give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Sean. And again, thanks to all those who were part of the delivery team. Incredible, incredible team and work. At this time, I'd like to have you join me in thanking all of our speakers up until now. Let's give them a hand. And this brings us to a very special part of the program that will symbolically finalize this rail project right here with a special ceremony inspired by a historic event in railroad history. And to narrate and lead us through the ceremony, I'm going to have our Director of Construction Management, Darren Lamberger, who's going to come and guide us through this very special ceremony. Darren?
Good morning. I think I get the most fun part of the event today, so I'm not gonna count that. Okay, so good morning, everybody. I'm Darren Lamberger, Director of the Construction Management Division. To conclude our celebration, we're taking inspiration from an event that took place back on May 10th, 1869 at Promontory Summit in what was then considered the Utah Territory. Two great trains, the Union Pacific number 119 and the Central Pacific Jupiter, came together that day and met nose to nose, separated by a width of single rail tie, much like we see here today. That was when railroad and elected officials marked and commemorated completion of the Transcontinental Railroad by driving 4 golden spikes into the final tie. Telegraph operators transmitted the blows of the hammers as East met West and started a new chapter in Western expansion. Today, 150 years later, we are celebrating the completion of the first project in a historic rail enhancement effort here at the Port of Long Beach, continuing the port's visionary industry leadership. Like the original ceremony, we have certain representatives who will come forward to drive golden spikes into a ceremonial tie, graciously prepared for us by Pacific Harbor Line, signifying the completion of the double track access from Pier G to Pier J project. So I think we'll have our representatives come forward for that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you again to Darren Lamberger and all the participants for this remarkable ceremony. And again, thanks to all the speakers who are here to help us celebrate this milestone that keeps us on track. Also, a very special thanks to all the behind-the-scenes team who planned, coordinated, and delivered this celebration. It was definitely worthy of the project. And finally, keeping with the theme of the day, we have one last announcement. We have created a very special train whistle to commemorate the day for each of you. So please enjoy a piece of cake or a cupcake, and be sure to pick up your special whistle at the table where you signed in. Again, thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.